when I started my advocacy 3 years ago, I had 400 stories come into my inbox, and those stories were reflective of people who were part of the music industry. So I feel like I've had the power of knowledge behind this report for a really long time. It is distressing to read the report and see the how bad the situation is and how toxic the culture is, and that it's been able to, still exist today.
The report found that overwhelmingly more women than men are sexually harassed and bullied in the sector, and most often by men. What is it about the music industry that has seen this type of behaviour take place?
Well, it's definitely the lack of responsibility and the abuse of power of our industry leaders. There is a culture of silence and complicity in our industry, and there's a perceived lack of accountability for our perpetrators. And so people find it difficult to speak up and report, behaviours of misconduct and harm and bullying.
The report found that only 3% of the 1,600 survey respondents said they had made a formal report alleging sexual harassment in the past 5 years. How difficult was it for you to initially speak out?
It was extremely difficult, and it's so different to where I am now because, during the time I was speaking up, I had a much smaller platform. I was an emerging artist. I didn't have that power, and I definitely don't have the same privileges. So it was, I was really putting my career and reputation on the line and having to face consequences of speaking up. So, yeah, it was really difficult. But for me, if I could speak up while other people couldn't, I definitely couldn't, be complicit in the culture of silence, and I had to do something about it. And I'm so glad that I did, because we're starting to see the awareness come about in our music industry.
Jaguar, what were the consequences for you in speaking up?
I mean, obviously that's a difficult one to talk about, but it would mean that my artist career is affected. People might not want to program me into festivals because they see me as a disruptor or someone who makes a lot of noise. People might not want to program me into, other like editorial or radio or festivals, whatever it is. It has affected my artist career, and it has also meant that I am known for my advocacy rather than my artistry. And now opportunities that come up for me are constantly about the advocacy, when they're forgetting that I came into this music industry to be an artist in a safe workplace.
Do you think that will change today with the release of this report, and as the music industry reads it and starts to decide what happens next?
I don't think it's going to be a sudden change. I really want people to know that even though it's taken a lot of sacrifice and a lot of energy to get to this place of reading this report, it's just awareness, and awareness is a first step. The report findings show that there are systemic discrimination in our music industry, and so I don't think it's going to change overnight. What I do want, though, is that it is a collective responsibility for our industry leaders and those with influence to look at the report findings and start implementing the recommendations, so we can bring about a cultural shift of change and bring in systems that will help bring about a more safe arts workplace.
So the recommendations include the creation of a music industry cultural reform council, as well as the overhaul of reporting and investigation mechanisms. What do you sense today about the appetite for change, and whether these things will be taken on board and in a short time frame?
I think what separates us as an industry is that we are built on creativity and passion. And so there is a huge dedication to, making our industry a sustainable one, and we are full of passionate people. So I hope it allows people to, commit to this process of reform and healing, and, look at these recommendations as positive steps towards making that change quickly.